in this country great prosperity and a leadership in the entire world with our chemical industry and with the energy industries. But we've neglected to pay part of the cost of that development, and now, of course, we must face that responsibility. Today, we're here to discuss facing that responsibility, to understand a class of chemicals known as PFAS. Many folks know of PFAS chemicals from brands such as Teflon and Scotchgard, but there are estimated to be thousands of PFAS chemicals in use to resist water, stains, and grease. Some of these products include frying pans, furniture, food packaging, work boots, raincoats, microwave popcorn bags, pizza boxes, shampoos, cosmetics, contact lenses, toilet paper, firefighting foam, and the list goes on and on. In other words, it's impossible to avoid PFAS. The chemicals are so useful for consumer products because they're durable and they're resistant to typical environmental processes included by water and bacteria. But those very qualities make them an environmental disaster. After decades of use, scientists are finding forever chemicals everywhere. Rubbing salt in the wound, they are concentrated in the biosolids generated by wastewater treatment facilities and subsequently spread on crops as fertilizer, putting PFAS back into the water and food we consume. The more we learn about various PFAS chemicals, the clearer it becomes that any level of exposure is significant and dangerous. Estimates are that at least 45% of U.S. household tap water contains one or more PFAS chemicals. Two of the best understood PFAS chemicals, PFOA and PFOS, the Environmental Protection Agency has concluded there is no safe level in drinking water. PFAS has been linked to devastating health problems, breast cancer, testicular cancer, liver damage, thyroid disease, colitis, fertility problems, high blood pressure, low birth weight, developmental delays, high cholesterol. So this is a public health challenge, and we want to understand it better. These chemicals were first developed in the 1940s. By the 1960s, manufacturers like 3M and DuPont knew their products were toxic. In fact, in 1981, DuPont removed female employees from working with PFAS chemicals after 8 women gave birth to babies with severe birth defects. But these corporations kept these dangers secret for decades. The public didn't learn about them until they were revealed by a landmark lawsuit in the 1990s. And PFAS manufacturers only began phasing out PFAS chemicals in the 2000s after a public outcry. Today, scientists and researchers are revealing the dangers of these chemicals, underscoring the unnecessary ubiquity of their use and identifying pollution hotspots that need to be contained or cleaned up. But we need extensive monitoring data to understand the scope, the severity, and the urgency of the problem, and to understand how Congress and federal agencies can protect the public from exposure to these chemicals. Avoiding PFAS poisoning cannot and should not be the responsibility of individual consumers. Thankfully, we have a panel of experts to help us understand this problem here today. Dr. Laurel Shader is a senior scientist at the Silent Spring Institute, where she works to understand the health effects of PFAS exposure. As a result of her research, in 2022, the New York State banned PFAS in food packaging, including pizza boxes, pastry boxes, sandwich wrappers, soup cups, and more. Since then, similar bans have passed in 12 more states. Joining her is Dr. Sue Fenton from North Carolina State University, who specializes in understanding how disease develops from PFAS. Her research is among the most cited toxicology work on PFAS exposure, and she was the first to identify how PFAS affects breastfeeding. She previously worked for the Environmental Protection Agency and the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences at the National Institutes of Health. And we are joined by Michael Larranaga, President and Managing Principal of REM Risk Consultants. He served on the Board of Scientific Counselors for the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. He's a member of First Responders Advisory Group for the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you all for being here to share your expertise today. And now I'd like to turn this over to our ranking member, Senator Mullen.